Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. It's Wednesday, but also the day after the victory 1-0 over Lecce. That sees momentarily the Bianconeri second in Serie A, of course, awaiting for the other games to be played today. I will do it in a total different way, analyzing the post-game. Usually I start with graphics, with stats, so that I can understand better, but also sharing the details of how we played with you, regardless if it was a victory, a draw or a loss, to understand a bit better what happened thanks to all these beautiful graphic tools that we have at our disposal. But today I want to do it in another way. After watching the game again, after analyzing the stats, looking at the numbers, listening also to other opinions of people, media or casual fans, I wrote a text so that it can help me better to structure my idea of Juventus, Lecce, and especially why I'm worried for the future. And that's why I will ask you now immediately, if you want to, of course, to put a maximum of like to the video, continue to subscribe, because then we go in one shot without being interrupted. And why did I decide to do it that way? Because for the people that watched yesterday the post-game live of Juve Lecce, you will probably have noticed a tired Beppe, unshakable Beppe, nearly at the limit of not showing joy, of being happy of the victory of yesterday. And I'm extremely sorry about that. A win is a win, and we always have to be happy with a victory. But it's true that the performance was extremely low pace. The performance was not beautiful. The performance was worrying. And I'm not saying that worrying for the game of yesterday, but if we are consistent in the performance that we showed yesterday, I'm really worried for the future of the remaining games of Serie A. Well, let's start with the positive first. There are not a lot, so it's easier to start with the positive, and then we'll try to analyze with a text of what I wrote about what I thought about the game of yesterday and why Beppe is worried. Well, the positives are that last year, after match day 6, we had 10 points. On 6 games, we won only 2 times, we drew 4 times. We were unbeaten after match day 6. I repeat, for the people that do not know, on match day 7, we played against Monza, and we found our first loss in Serie A. At that moment, we were 8 in the ranking. This season, after match day 6, waiting for the other ones, we have 13 points. That means 3 more than last season. We won 2 more games, because we won 4, we drew 1, and we lost 1. At the moment, waiting for Milan, we are 2nd. Worst case scenario, we finished 3rd. That's already at least 5 spots more than last year. In best case scenario, we go with 6 more spots than last year. Were there other positives in the game of yesterday? Well, yes. Not a lot, but a few. First of all, we have beaten Lecce, which was not an easy task, because they were unbeaten that far. They had nothing to lose. They came to the Allianz Stadium with a lot of enthusiasm, euphoria. They were above Juventus in the ranking of Serie A, and they were there to continue their magical dream. And we know it, and we said it, they were and they are a team that was well organized, extremely well organized, and we know it. In the last 15 minutes in the 5 first games of Serie A, they were already able to score 5 times. So a team that at any moment of the game could have been really dangerous. The last positive news is indeed that Max, in press conference, said that we had to go immediately back to victory after the humiliation of Sassuolo, and that's what we did. We went back to victory. But he also said 2 other things. After Sassuolo, in press conference, he said that the team, he saw the guys, the boys, are Bianconeri, angry and also motivated. Well, I'll tell you the truth, yesterday, during the 90 minutes of the game, I didn't see an angry Juventus. I didn't see a motivated Juventus. This is not how I saw our boys approaching the game in our stadium. Instead, I saw a low-paced Juventus, conservative Juventus, passive Juventus, and an insecure Bianconeri team. That's what I saw yesterday. And you could easily feel and sense the mental consequences of that Sassuolo loss. You could see it in their eyes. The best picture is Bremer. At a certain moment, 52 minutes of the game, you see him with both hands, after saving a ball, putting in the corner kick, with both hands on his knees, looking at the ground, heading up his head, looking, I don't know where the camera is really focusing on him, and you see desperation. You see sadness. You see that there is no power, no anger, no motivation. Scared again, thinking about that Sassuolo loss. Yes, it's true, Lecce was well organized, but they offered little solution. And for a Juventus, that we know it, have huge difficulties to build from the back, from the middle, wherever you want to on the field, it doesn't help at all to play against a team that is as organized as Lecce. If you watch again the game, you will see that 4-4-2 of Lecce in a certain moment, moving like an orchestra, limiting all the spaces for Juventus, which made it extremely difficult for Juve. Well, on the other side, Lecce, they also refused to play, hoping that they could score a 6th goal in these last 15 minutes. That was the plan of Lecce, limiting all the lines, limiting Juventus, moving in an organized way, and then thinking that they could do a miracle in the last 15 minutes. And after an okay start of Juventus and that first dangerous attempt at the 26th minute of Federico Chiesa, we gave up. And there's no real valid reason why we gave up yesterday. I can't explain myself why it happened. It's not that there was at a certain moment a goal of Lecce, a really dangerous counter-attack that said, ragazzi, pay attention, we have to manage the game, we can't give them... No, we disappeared after our attempt at the 26th minute. We were scared to concede a counter-attack. We were scared to concede a shot on target. We were scared to miss a pass. We were scared to be whistled even more from an Allianz Stadium that was, at certain moments, self-harming. A stadium that was grumbling at the first back pass on a 0-0 at the 20th minute. It was absolutely not helping the mental state of our players. And you know what's worrying? That after match day 6, we can say that we saw 6 different Juventus. Not in terms of starting lineup, because usually we're playing with more or less the same players, but in the way of interpreting the games. Every game is another story. We were not perfect before that Sassuolo, but at least we tried to show what we trained into the summer. We trained really hard, with 1 or 2 keywords in mind. We tried to show it, even if it was not always consistent in the 90 minutes, but we understood that the keyword of the summer was intensity. And I would be extremely disappointed if we cancelled that word from our vocabulary. That after the first doubt or the first difficulties like the loss against Sassuolo, we go back to being passive, renouncing, and the Juventus of the last seasons. A dirty win happens. Look at Inter. Inter, they won in a dirty way against Empoli. They were not convincing at all. But ragazzi, if it is an isolated case, if Juventus yesterday did that performance and isolated, I can accept it. Like the win over Empoli from Inter, it has to be isolated. But if this Juventus will continue to show up against Atalanta, against Torino, against Milan, I tell you immediately, it will be a miracle if we have 9 points in 3 games that are crucial, important, to believe in something bigger, to give some self-esteem, to have that confident boost. It will be extremely difficult because the Juventus that I watched yesterday, I saw a Juventus again scared to win, that go back to the last season performances in giving the ball, to manage, to be scared, to concede more, to think about scoring games. Then you will tell me, Beppe, we did like 1 shot. No, we did a bit more shots on target. It's true that we scored from a corner kick, and I tell you, I don't care about scoring from corner kick. Some people, they have that fixation that we are obliged to score always from open play. It's not true. If it comes from a corner kick, it comes from a corner kick. But in a season, in 6 games, it should come more than only corner kicks. It should be a mix of free kicks, penalties, corner kicks, open play games. That should be the solution of Juventus. Show different solutions. And at the moment, I didn't see it against Lecce. Team that was blocked, like Bologna was blocked, with Juventus having difficulties to find ways to come back and showing that anger that we lost against Sassuolo. If we are speaking about individualities, because I want to touch a few words on it, who did I see yesterday really, really well? Well, it's crazy, because there are probably 2 players that never we would have thought that we would have put them as high in the performance of the game of yesterday. Weston McKennie continuing a really beautiful start of the season, fundamental on that right side, not only defensively, but this time also offensively. Well, That goal that is coming after the corner kick is going with the ball to Weston McKennie, cross to Rabiot with a header, and goal of Milik. But then I also saw a beautiful Rugani. We know it, huh? 8th season at Juventus, a player that has been whistled, that has been hated, that has been whatever you want to. Again, he enters the game and gives security, gives solidity. Against a Lecce that was not really taking initiatives, but I was really relaxed. So if I see Rugani playing against Atalanta, I will absolutely not be surprised. The player that I didn't enjoy yesterday, oh, I forgot also about Chiesa. Chiesa, that was probably the only one really trying with personal initiatives, trying to put some danger. So I want to save also Federico Chiesa, putting him there up. And also the growth of Fagioli, much better than in the 4 first games of the season. The player that I didn't like yesterday was Danilo. He was the one that touched most balls. And then this is also a consequence of probably not trusting Bremer to build from the back. A team, I told you, difficulties, so many difficulties to build from the back. Well, yesterday we said, you know what, give the ball to Danilo instead of Bremer. Danilo, yesterday, when trying to build, so many mistakes, but a lot of mistakes. And he touched the ball 77 times. 64 times he was able to pass the ball, only 50 times he was able to be accurate. So that means that he missed 14 passes in the game, reaching a 78% pass accuracy. That is really low, extremely low. So yesterday, Danilo on that left side, I don't know if we have to solve it. I don't know if we have to bring him back to the right side of the field, but the start of the season of Danilo has not been perfect. So Juventus as a whole, as a total, has to do much better than what we watched yesterday. And again, I want to insist, we won and I'm happy. We are doing in terms of points and so on much better than last year. We are still in a run for something beautiful, but it has to change. If it was an isolated case because of that loss against Sassuolo, I will accept it and I will totally forget that game. Even more, I will cherish that win of yesterday, even in the way that we played, because it's a win that brings you closer to your objective. But if it's not an isolated case, if we continue with that performance, well, it will scare me a lot. And then it will be an extremely difficult Serie A for Juventus. Ragazzi, let me know what you thought about it. I'm sorry if in certain parts of the video I was obliged to read to keep my ideas fresh. Maximum of like, continue to subscribe, and we'll see each other later today. Grazie, forza, Juve.